The Arctic is not a place for the living. It is a world defined by the absence of warmth, a liquid desert, where the temperature often drops below the freezing point of blood. Here the ocean is a pressure chamber weighed down by trillions of tons of permanent ice. To enter these waters is to enter a state of biological shock. Your heart would seize, and your lungs would fail within minutes. This is the domain of the sub-zero and abyss, where time is supposed to be frozen. But 2,000 meters beneath this wasteland, something moves. It doesn't swim with the frantic energy of a hunter. It drifts like a shadow carved from the seabed itself. You are looking at a creature that has forgotten how to die. This is the Greenland shark, Somniosus microcephalus. To the scientific world, it is a biological impossibility. To the ocean, it is a living, breathing time machine. Everything about this shark is a defiance of nature. Its heart beats only once every 12 seconds, a slow, thumping drum that has been echoing in the darkness since long before the modern world began. Imagine a creature that was already a century old when the French Revolution shook the foundations of Europe, an animal that was swimming in the silent deep while the first steam engines were being built, and that continued to drift through the shadows while humans invented electricity, fought 2 world wars, and touched the moon. This shark is not just living in the ocean, it is carrying the history of our planet in its very cells. But the most haunting reality is the cost of this immortality. If you were to look into the eye of a Greenland shark, you would see a white writhing parasite called Omatocoita elongata. This crustacean attaches itself to the shark's corneas, slowly eating away its sight, until the shark is functionally blind. It is a 400-year-old titan moving through a lightless world, guided only by the scent of blood and the faint vibrations of the deep. It is a blind ghost, patrolling a frozen graveyard. In a world obsessed with speed and progress, the Greenland shark is a master of patience. It moves at just 1 mile per hour, biding its time in the cold. It doesn't fight the ocean. It has become the ocean. We are only now beginning to realize that while we have spent centuries trying to conquer the earth, this silent wanderer has been watching us from the dark, surviving through an endurance we can barely comprehend. To understand how a vertebrate can endure for 5 centuries, we must look past its scarred skin and into its blood. In the freezing depths of the North Atlantic, the Greenland shark has performed a feat of biological alchemy. Its body is not composed of the same fragile tissues as ours. It is a walking fortress of toxic chemistry. To survive temperatures that would turn human blood into ice, this shark has saturated its muscles with high concentrations of urea and trimethylamine N-oxide, or TMAO. These substances act as a natural antifreeze, preventing the formation of jagged ice crystals that would otherwise shred its cells from the inside out. But this protection comes with a terrifying side effect. This chemical cocktail makes the shark's flesh inherently toxic. For centuries, Inuit hunters knew that feeding raw Greenland shark meat to their dogs would lead to shark sickness, a state of neurological collapse where the animals would stumble, hallucinate, and fall into a death-like stupor. It is as if the shark has protected its longevity by becoming a poison to the world around it. It is an animal that cannot be eaten, a predator that carries its own defense in every fiber of its being. Yet the true secret to its immortality isn't just its chemistry, it is its rhythm. In nature, there is a fundamental law. The faster you live, the sooner you die. Small birds with rapid heartbeats live for years. Whales with slow pulses live for decades. The Greenland shark has taken this rule to its absolute extreme. It lives in a state of near-permanent hibernation while still conscious. Its metabolism is the slowest ever recorded in a vertebrate. It grows at a rate of only 1 centimeter per year, meaning it doesn't even reach sexual maturity, the point where it can begin to find a mate until it is at least 150 years old. Think about the weight of that. While human generations rise, flourish, and vanish into dust, this shark is still in its childhood, wandering the dark, waiting for a century and a half just to begin its adult life. Its heart, a massive organ the size of a human head, beats with a mechanical, agonizing patience. It does not rush to hunt. It does not rush to grow. It has mastered the art of doing nothing, conserving every joule of energy to fuel a life that spans across epochs. It is a masterclass in endurance, a creature that has traded the fire of a fast life for the cold, eternal embers of a 500-year journey. In the brutal hierarchy of the ocean, speed is the ultimate currency. To survive, you must be faster than your lunch. But the Greenland shark is a creature that has fundamentally rewritten the laws of physics. Its maximum swimming speed is a pathetic 1.7 miles per hour, about half the speed of a human walking. Yet when marine biologists began examining the stomach contents of these prehistoric titans, they were met with a baffling mystery. Inside these slow sharks were the remains of fast-moving seals, giant squids, and even the carcasses of reindeer and polar bears. How does the slowest hunter on the planet capture the fastest residents of the Arctic? The answer is as terrifying as it is brilliant. The Greenland shark is not a chaser, it is a sleeper assassin. In the lightless, freezing waters of the North, it utilizes a strategy of extreme stealth that spans days. Because it moves so slowly, it creates almost no pressure wave in the water. Most fish and seals possess sensitive nerves that detect the vibrations of an approaching predator, but the Greenland shark is a biological ghost. It drifts through the water with the silence of a falling snowflake, invisible to the sensors of its prey. It doesn't hunt with power, it hunts with the inevitability of the tide. Many scientists believe these sharks specialize in sleep hunting. Seals often take short naps while floating in the water or near the edge of ice floes to avoid polar bears on the surface. In the absolute silence of the deep, the Greenland shark approaches its sleeping target inch by inch. By the time the seal senses the shift in the water, the shark's massive vacuum-like jaws are already inches away. It uses a powerful suction mechanism to pull the prey into its mouth, a trap that closes before the victim can even register a threat. It is a predator that has traded the thrill of the chase for the certainty of the end. But the Greenland shark is also the ocean's ultimate janitor. It is a scavenger of the highest order, a silent witness that cleans the frozen graveyard of the North. It has been found with the remains of land animals like horses and moose in its stomach, creatures that likely fell through the ice and drowned. The shark doesn't care if the meal is fresh or centuries old. Its toxic, slow-moving body can process almost anything. This dual nature, being both a ghost predator and an eternal scavenger, is what has allowed it to survive through multiple mass extinctions. It proves that in a world of frantic movement, there is a dark, crushing power in simply being able to wait longer than anyone else. While we measure our lives in decades, the Greenland shark measures its existence in centuries. To understand the sheer scale of this survival, we must look past its scarred skin and into the deepest levels of its biology, its DNA. For a long time, the age of these sharks was a total mystery, because unlike other fish, they lack the bony structures that grow age rings. It wasn't until scientists at the University of Copenhagen applied radiocarbon dating to the proteins inside the shark's eye lenses. Proteins formed at birth and trapped for life, that the truth emerged. We weren't just looking at an old fish. We were looking at a creature that had successfully outsmarted the process of biological decay. The secret to this immortality lies in a genome that acts like a self-repairing library. In humans and most other vertebrates, the process of aging is essentially a series of copying errors. Every time our cells divide, our DNA suffers tiny bruises or mutations. Over time, these errors accumulate, leading to cancer organ failure and the inevitable breakdown we call old age. But the Greenland shark's cells operate with a mechanical, agonizing precision. Recent genetic sequencing suggests they possess unique variants of genes that govern DNA repair and tumor suppression. Their cardiovascular system is a miracle of engineering. A 400-year-old shark's heart shows no signs of the scarring or weakening found in a 70-year-old human heart. They have found a way to prevent the molecular friction of life from burning out their flame. This biological stability creates a mind that is fundamentally different from anything else on Earth. The Greenland shark's brain is not optimized for complex social structures like a dolphin's or high-speed processing like a great white's. Instead, it is a sensory powerhouse tuned to the vibrations of the deep. Since most are functionally blind due to parasites, they see the world through a massive olfactory system. Their brain processes a three-dimensional map of chemical signals. They can detect the difference between a melting glacier miles away and the faint scent of a carcass sinking from the surface. They navigate the featureless Arctic basin using Earth's magnetic fields, guided by a 500-year-old memory of ocean currents and invisible pathways. But there is a haunting loneliness to this longevity. Imagine a creature that reached its adolescence during the American Civil War and is only now in the 21st century beginning to search for its first mate. Their social interactions are rare, perhaps occurring only once every few decades in the dark trenches of the Atlantic. They carry within their bodies old water isotopes of carbon and nitrogen trapped in their tissues from a time before the Industrial Revolution, before plastic choked the oceans and before humans changed the climate. There is a profound and cruel irony in the life of a Greenland shark. After surviving for 5 centuries, navigating through ice ages, outliving the rise and fall of global empires, and witnessing the very world change shape, from the silent darkness, this titan is now facing a threat it cannot outwait. For an animal that takes 150 years just to reach the end of its childhood, the modern world moves at a lethal, frantic pace. We are currently living through what scientists call the Great Acceleration, a period where human impact on the planet's chemistry and temperature is happening thousands of times faster than the Greenland shark can even reproduce. The greatest danger to their existence is their own extraordinary biology. Because they grow at a rate of only 1 centimeter per year and reach sexual maturity so late, their populations are among the most fragile on Earth. If a female shark is caught in a commercial fishing net today, we aren't just losing one animal. We are losing a creature that may have been waiting since the Victorian era just to be pregnant for the first time. Every individual lost is a century of biological history erased in a single heartbeat. For decades, these sharks were systematically slaughtered for their liver oil to light the streets of Europe before electricity took over. Later, they were discarded as bycatch by industrial trawlers who viewed them as worthless pests of the deep. We were nearly successful in erasing them from the planet before we even realized they were the longest-living vertebrates in existence. But today, a new invisible shadow looms over the Arctic climate change. The Greenland shark relies on the absolute stability of the cold. As the Arctic ice melts at an unprecedented rate, the very smell map they have used to navigate for centuries is shifting. The massive influx of fresh water from melting glaciers changes the salinity and the complex chemical signals of the deep ocean. Furthermore, a horrifying discovery was made recently. Microplastics and industrial chemicals have been found embedded in the ancient tissues of these sharks. Bodies that were born in a pristine pre-industrial world have become a dumping ground for a civilization that has only existed for a fraction of their lifespan. We are injecting our chaotic short-term waste into a creature built for eternity. As we conclude this journey into the abyss, we must ask ourselves, what does it mean to be in the presence of such an intelligence? The Greenland shark does not communicate in the complex clicks of the sperm whale, nor does it sing the haunting songs of the humpback. It communicates through its absolute silence. It is a living testament to the power of persistence over speed. In a human culture that celebrates the fast, the loud, and the immediate, the Greenland shark is a stark reminder that the most profound strength lies in the ability to endure. It has mastered the art of survival by becoming one with the slow, deep pulse of the planet. When you look at the dark, frigid waters of the North, remember that there is a mind down there that has seen the world before we broke it. A mind that is still biding its time, still breathing, still drifting through the centuries. We have spent our history trying to conquer time, but the Greenland shark simply exists within it. They are the silent matriarchs and patriarchs of the ice. If we allow them to vanish, we don't just lose a species, we lose our last direct connection to a world that was once pure. We lose the only being that truly knows what it means to be eternal. The question is no longer how they survive the deep, but whether they can survive us.